It is Wednesday. I'm so happy to say that. I'm going to say it again. It is Wednesday, and you all know what that means. It is time for a proper episode of the Life in the Movies podcast. I'm one of your co hosts. My name is Ryan Cam. Thank you all so much for joining, and thank you all so much for your patience on my behalf because of my stupid internet and just a whole bunch of nonsense. But we are back on the time slot Wednesday proper, and I'm joined by Jacob Martin, who is fresh off of vacation. Jacob, how was your vacation?
It was a wonderful vacation. Like I said in the last video, we went to Tennessee for an event called Polishing the Pulpit, this religious conference seminar with various lessons and classes. Very inspiring event. Made me think so much about what's truly important in life, which I guess is what you want in an event like this. And I think it's made me a stronger person by the end of the day, both physically and spiritually. So if you're also in the Christian religious community, I do highly recommend going to this event if you have the need to do so.
Yeah, that sounds wonderful. I'll have to do that one day. But things have been busy for you and busy for me. Uh, when this drops, I will have officially started my new job. I've kind of kept it under wraps, but it is official. I will have started by now. And we're recording this on a Monday night, which means my first day is going to be Tuesday. I'm I'm a bit nervous because I'm just naturally I get nervous when new things arise, but I am also very excited because it's a job that I'm really looking forward to jumping in with both feet. I asked for some change in my career, and this is the change that is coming down the way. So I'm going to give it 350%, and I will keep you all apprised of that. But I'm just so very excited for that.
All right. The last time we did an episode, you said you got a job at the library. Is that what you said?
Yep, that's right.
All right. Awesome. I can't wait to hear more about that job. It sounds like you got an awesome career ahead of you.
Yeah, I'm holding myself to that. But we've got a surprisingly loaded show because not only do we have the September preview, but because we've both been so busy, we did not get a chance to watch Jessica Jones. So next week we will be doing a two-parter. We'll be covering two episodes next week. But I mean, Jacob, WB did it again. Oh my God. This is the company that is like you can't make this stuff up. Earlier this year we got the show on Paramount Plus, The Offer, about how The Godfather was made. Someone's gonna make a show about just the craptastic year that WB has been having, and we're gonna be talking about one of the movies that they're releasing in the coming month. Don't worry, darling, but we'll cross the bridge on the movie itself when we get there. But the whole Shia LaBeouf and the Olivia Wilde situation, not to mention the fact that Zaslav is just walking down the pike with his axe, just going, all right, your cut, your cut, your cut. HBO removing things from HBO Max. I'm sure I'm missing some things. I saw a tweet earlier this week from somebody who said Black Adam is going to be the only movie WB releases this year that's not problematic, and I replied to them, for now, as a bit of a joking manner, but we're at a point now where that could feasibly be possible. So, oh man, it's equally depressing and hysterical all at the same point, if that's fair to say.
Oh, yeah. I just can't believe what's going on over there. I was gone for a whole week in Tennessee. Did not look at my social media once, particularly Twitter and Facebook. That Thursday, I got back, and what was the first thing I saw pop up on Twitter? A Batman animated show getting axed, Looney Tunes getting axed, a Steve Urkel cartoon getting axed. So much stuff getting the cancellation. especially in the world of animation, and it saddens me because I've been a fan of animation for years. Clearly, these Discovery people just don't like animation for some reason. It doesn't make sense because Warner Brothers, they have a back catalog in animation. You know, the Looney Tunes and Tom and Jerry and the Hanna-Barbera cartoons. That's under WB's umbrella. Why do you have a new company taking over that doesn't like that wants to destroy the legacy of what made the company stand out? If you don't like animation or you don't know how to run a movie studio in general, why did you buy it to begin with? That's what's confusing me about this whole thing.
Yeah, and what sticks out in my head is that the stuff that was canceled was not just, obscure things that could have been on the borderline anyway. We're talking about Batman, which that's still a big deal at WB to this very day. We're talking about Batman, basically Family Matters, which is still a show that people remember to this day, like, did I do that? And that whole thing. So this is like big time properties that they're being like, nah, you're good. So I have no idea what's going on in those boardrooms, but it's like I'm afraid it's just going to be just all a lineup of just reality TV, which I enjoy myself a Hell's Kitchen or an Amazing Race myself, but like, come on, like, you're kneecapping the creations of very talented people, and it's just a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah, and then to make matters worse, like a day after I got back, the announcement was made that a lot of movies that were supposed to come out from Warner Brothers got pushed back to next year because big shocker, the people at Discovery ran out of money to market their movies. And so they delayed a bunch of their 2022 movies to 2023, including the Shazam sequel that was supposed to come out in December. What's going on? Why am I'm surprised by this and I'm not surprised by this at the same time. I mean, Warner Brothers Discovery. That's what we're dealing with right now. We got a studio hijacked by a reality TV company. And they don't know how to market their movies.
Yeah,
What
and
is it?
it's doubly ironic because they did it supposedly to save money, and yet they barely have enough to market Black Adam, Don't Worry, Darling, and what was going to be The Flash, but that's been pushed back. So, so that's a backfire for the ages right there. And I guess it's also sad because Don't Worry, Darling was a movie that, like, the trailer I see everywhere. It's replaced the Nope trailer. It's like no matter where I turn, I cannot avoid that trailer. Like, as soon as I see Harry Styles opening that car door and doing that, and Florence Pugh going like, "You're sick the rest of the day, and the only cure is to stay home," and be like, how long are we gonna see this trailer? It's like it was looked like it was going to be a big deal, and now you hear Florence Pugh is pulling out of all the press after it debuts at the Venice Film Festival. You got Olivia Wilde doing something. You got Shia LaBeouf saying, "No, I wasn't fired. I quit," and Olivia Wilde begged me to stay. So, Shia LaBeouf is no stranger to drama, but the dude provided the receipts from what I hear, and the man is clearly trying to heal his reputation. So it literally is a game of he said, she said. It's really hard to dissect.
Yeah, I haven't looked too much into the whole drama surrounding that movie. To me, it's just a bunch of he said, she said nonsense. I I could care less about any of that drama personally, but it is pretty unfortunate that you got a movie coming out which had the potential to be a great movie, and I hope it is a great movie. But the behind the scenes drama surrounding it, it sounds like, will be more infamous than the movie itself. And it's really frustrating when that happens.
Yeah, and I don't know how I came across this, but I just stumbled across this. Legendary Entertainment, who works with Warner Brothers on stuff like Dune and the Monsterverse movies, they're looking to leave Warner Brothers and they're looking to court either Sony or Paramount. So WB is the Titanic and the rats are leaving the ship. So
Yeah.
it's really, like I said, it's sad, but it's also kind of funny all at the same time. It just so many things to say, but uh what is what are y'all's opinion, if any, on this situation? Leave it in the comments. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Well, Jacob, I think it's time to turn on to do some more positive things. It's time to do the September 2022 preview. I promised in the opening of the last episode that this is what we would be doing, and we're going to go ahead and do it. So thank you for compiling the list, Jacob, as always. Having watched all the trailers for these movies, is there anything that sticks out, or do you think we're in the middle of a dead season? Because I think maybe with a couple of exceptions, September is looking like we're going to be in a pretty dry month.
Yeah, I would agree with that. There's not like any like huge movies coming out in September, surprisingly. I think there might be some award contenders in there, which might be, Oscar darlings going forward. But while there's some movies that look intriguing, and I do plan on checking some of these out, I don't think a lot of these movies are gonna like revive the box office or anything like that because the box office really needs it right now. Did you see the gross on the George Miller's new movie, The 3,000 Years?
I heard it made like 2.3 million on like a 70 million budget, which geez, like
Ooh,
that's
that
horrible. And
is bad.
I've actually seen 3000 Years of Longing. I will have a review up on that very soon, and I liked the movie fine. It's nothing to really write home about, but it was fine. But it's like that's just wow, that's just kind of sad, really. But yeah, it's definitely looking like we're in a bit of a dead season, but let's dig into the movies proper. Starting off the month with Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul. In the aftermath of a huge scandal, Trinity Childs, the first lady of a prominent Southern Baptist megachurch, attempts to help her pastor husband, Lee Curtis Childs, rebuild their congregation. This was directed by Adama Ebo. I hope I'm saying this person's name right. And the movie is produced by Jordan Peele, and it stars Regina Hall and Sterling K. Brown. That alone is going to give it a 4 for me. I've seen the trailer now several times, and it's getting me more excited for it every time. But Jacob, what about you?
First off, I think this gets the title, the award for the most creative title of the year. Honk for Jesus, Save Your Soul.
I
Every time I
agree.
see that, I get a good chuckle out of that. This is the first time I've actually seen the trailer, and it looks interesting. I think it's going to be a fun little satire on how a lot of these mega churches work. I like the cast, especially Sterling K. Brown. I think it's going to be a fun enough little movie. It's not. I don't know if it'll be best of the year or anything, but I'm intrigued. I'm going to go 3.5 on this one.
All right, well, next up, and let's take a big old steep dip in quality. Let's talk about Wire Room. This is the latest Bruce Willis movie, and with Bruce Willis's health problems, and he's now retired from acting, which I mean that's very sad. We're going to be losing a legend here very soon, but at the same time, like Bruce Willis, it just I don't know what happened. He just made a cottage industry out of just making crap like this for the remaining years of his career. It's while on wire room duty, a federal agent listens in as the target is attacked in his home by a hit squad. Without burning the wire, he must protect the investigation and the target's life from the confines of a room 50 miles away. So, Jacob, what did you think of this?
Yeah, I didn't get much out of this trailer either, and I just feel so sad. That Bruce Willis has his health issues and he's retiring, but it's sad that these last movies that he did, where he did a bunch of these like bargain bin, cheaply made direct-to-video movies, where you think he's the main star, but he's actually just the extra doing a glorified cameo with little lines to get around some of the health issues he was developing. it's really sad that he got in a spot like this, and it's sad, when you have a great actor like Bruce Willis, John McClane for crying out loud, one of the best action stars of the '80s and '90s. To see him get reduced to this is just saddening. This movie didn't do much for me, at least the trailer. I feel like I've seen the whole movie just from watching the trailer. It's that disposable of a trailer. I think just for Bruce Willis and because I feel kind of bad for him, I'm gonna go 1.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna meet you there, and I feel like I'm giving him a Christmas gift. Well, next up is After Ever Happy. This is on Amazon Prime. As a shocking truth about a couple's families emerges, the two lovers discover they are not so different from each other. Tessa is no longer the sweet, simple, good girl she was when she met Hardin, any more than he is the cruel, moody boy she fell so hard for. Jacob, what did you think of this one?
Can I just say 0?
That good, huh?
Oh my gosh! Even from the trailer, I was just like rolling my eyes at just how borderline uncomfortable I was at the on and off drama between the two characters. This is actually the fourth film in this franchise. I think the previous three were theatrical releases. I haven't seen any of these movies, by the way, and I actually looked up the After series. Obviously, they're based off of books. The woman wrote these books as Harry Styles fan fiction. So the guy that you see in the trailer is modeled after Harry Styles. And I think even Harry Styles was creeped out that he blocked the offer on social media.
Yeah, thanks, but no thanks. I'm sure you.
It looks so bad. Uh, I've seen. Are you familiar with the YouTuber Alex Myers?
I've heard his name. I don't think I've seen any of his stuff.
He does a lot of reactions to like young adult romance movies and Netflix comedy movies and Disney Channel movies and stuff like that. And his reactions to how bad some of these movies are, especially the dialogue and how the relationships are developed, are so hilarious to watch. I recommend his channel if you haven't seen any of his videos.
Yeah, I will certainly hunt that down. So you're gonna go 0. You know what? I'll meet you there too. I'll go 0. I it looks pretty bad. But next up is Pinocchio. This is exclusive to Disney Plus, a live action adaptation of Disney's Pinocchio. I literally just read the description off of IMDb, but this is the latest in the Disney live action remakes, which outside of maybe I want to say the Jungle Book, I'm just straight up not a fan of, but the man Bobby Z, Robert Zemeckis is directing it. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is voicing Jiminy Cricket. Tom Hanks is playing Geppetto. There's clearly a cast and money behind this. What's your verdict, Jacob? What say?
All right, so the Disney live action remakes, for me, I can take them or leave them. If they're made well and they respect the original animated movies, I tend to like them just fine. Or if a movie outright copy and paste the original with no emotion, like The Lion King, it's a hard pass for me. Or completely deviates from the original movie to where it becomes an insult, like the Maleficent movies. I hated both of those. Pinocchio, I am intrigued. I'm genuinely interested in how it's going to play out. I'm curious how some of the sequences, like Monstro and the Pleasure Island stuff, Disney's going to do in a live action format. And I've been a fan of Robert Zemeckis since I was a kid who watched The Polar Express for the first time and the Back to the Future movies. I think he's still a good director, even in recent years. I know some people say he's lost his touch, but I still genuinely enjoy most of the guy's work. If you haven't seen The Walk, which came out a few years ago, that film is massively underrated, a fantastic biopic. I'm actually intrigued by this one. I know it's not going to top the original animated Pinocchio, which is one of my favorite animated movies of all time, but I'm intrigued. I think it'll be an interesting one. I'm gonna go 4 just on the director and cast alone.
I don't really have a ton of exposure to the original Pinocchio. I've seen it and I have a lot of respect for it. I'm gonna go 3.5 on this one for a variety of reasons. I'm just so burnt out of the Disney live action remakes that even the good ones, I'm just like, why did you even bother? Like, I'm
Yeah.
asking honestly. But next up is Barbarian. A woman staying at an Airbnb discovers that the house she has rented is not what it seems. Now, this is actually coming to my theater in next week, and they've actually shown that it's coming. And this one, honestly, looked quite intriguing. Uh, it it kind of asks the question, if it's an Airbnb, like, shouldn't have there been some reviews of, like, this house is sus, stay away? But I mean, maybe there's an explanation for that. But Jacob, what about you?
Yeah, this one actually looked really intriguing. I like that, even with the horror premise, even in the trailer, it looked like it didn't give anything away too crazy, even in the trailer. And I love trailers that do that. I actually hope this executes its premise, and I'm intrigued by where it's going to bring. I'm going to go 4 on this one, just on intrigue.
Wow, that's pretty high. I'll go a little above you and say 4.5. This was actually one of my favorite trailers. That combined with Crosby, Stills, and Nash's "Our House," I love that song to death, and yeah, that was a very clever usage in the trailer. So I'm actually surprisingly looking forward to it. Well, next up is End of the Road. This is a Netflix movie. In this high octane action thriller, a cross country road trip becomes a highway to hell for Brenda and her family. Alone in the New Mexico desert, they have to fight for their lives when they become the targets of a mysterious killer. This movie stars Queen Latifah, Beau Bridges, and Ludacris, among others. Jacob, what about you? What did you think?
So before I watched the trailer and saw new Netflix movie with Queen Latifah and Ludacris, I was like, oh no, this is gonna be one of them dumb Netflix comedies, isn't it? No, I was surprised. This is actually an action thriller with actors that normally don't do this kind of stuff. Well, Ludacris is in the Fast and Furious movies, but he's more of the comic relief. You don't really view him as an action star. But I'm surprised by the serious tone, and it looks like both actors are going to give really serious performances. We're really going to see the strength of their acting abilities. I'm actually quite intrigued by this movie, and seeing it's Netflix, um, I'm not expecting much out of this movie, but I'm I'm interested. I'm surprised by how interested I was just from the trailer. So just on intrigue, I'm gonna go 3.5.
You know what? I'm gonna meet you there, 3.5. When I did the September October streaming preview with Rachel, I said this was one of those trailers that shocked the hell out of me in terms of its quality. So I'm looking forward to it. I hope that it's as good as the trailer. Well, next up is Clerks 3. Dante, Elias, and Jay and Silent Bob are enlisted by Randall after a heart attack to make a movie about the convenience store that started it all. This was this is obviously written and directed by Kevin Smith. This movie has been speculated about for years and years, and Kevin Smith is finally pulling the trigger on it. Jacob, have you had any experience with these Clerk movies? Because I certainly have not.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of these movies either. So I have no huge nostalgia or anticipation for this movie. But just looking at the trailer, I think it looks like it's made out of love for nerds and people that enjoy poking fun of movies and stuff. Uh, I'd give it a higher rating if I've seen the other two, but just on the trailer alone, I'm going to go 3.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. I feel like this is for those who have grown up with this movie and love this movie and love the Clerks movies. I know a good friend of mine, his name is Phil. Shout out to Phil. He's probably listening to this, who loves Kevin Smith to death, and so he's probably going to go see this day one. Well, next up is The Woman King. This is another trailer that I just cannot escape for the life of me. A historical epic inspired by the true events that happened in the kingdom of Dahomey. I apologize if I butchered that. One of the most powerful states of Africa in the 18th and 19th centuries. This every time I see this trailer, I'm just sitting there like, this looks pretty dang cool. It's got Viola Davis. That's a win right there. But you also got John Boyega and Lashana Lynch. Jacob, what did you think of this one?
Yeah, I'm actually really sold on this movie just for the performances, the cast that they got, and the action. If the action is done very well, I hope the movie does not pull any punches since we're focusing on an African tribe using spears and everything. I really hope the action is going to be visceral, brutal to watch. I don't know if the film's PG-13 or R, but if it definitely goes there, I hope it's going to be a blast to watch.
I am checking IMDb and the rating, I do not see it. Hang on, let me take a look because I could have sworn this was PG-13, but the Woman King rating and geez, Google, like one question. And so oh, I remember the days when they actually showed it on the poster. Wow, not even Rotten Tomatoes has it. That is
Maybe,
weird.
maybe they hadn't been rated yet.
Yeah, I could have sworn that it had been rated already, but if I had to venture a guess though, just from the look of it, it's probably going to be PG-13 if I had to
Yeah,
venture a guess.
yeah, we'll just have to see. Because I was getting like a lot of almost Braveheart vibes just from these warriors that are fighting to protect their land. I was hoping it'd be on that level and scope. But yeah, I hope it's really good. Just because I'm sold on the action and the performances, I'm going 4.5.
Yeah, I'll concur with you on that one. 4.5. I love the trailer line where Viola Davis is like, "We are the spear of freedom." I'm like, that's a heart pumper right there. I love that one. Well, next up is See How They Run. This trailer actually just dropped, if I believe today, if not the other day. But in the West End of 1950s London, plans for a movie version of a smash hit play come to an abrupt halt after a pivotal member of the crew is murdered. So if this movie teaches one thing is that the West End in the 1950s and 60s was just not a fun place. I mean, check Last Night in Soho if you want proof of that. But this is a pretty loaded cast. Sam Rockwell, Saoirse Ronan, Adrian Brody, Ruth Wilson, David Oyelowo. Jacob, what did you think of this one?
Yeah, I'm a sucker for murder mystery stories, so seeing this trailer put a huge grin on my face. I love the cast already, and I'm curious to see how it's going to stack to some of the recent murder mysteries we've been getting, like Knives Out and Kenneth Branagh's Murder on the Orient Express movies. I hope this one's able to still be a fresh mystery with a shocking twist and a great cast. I'm intrigued by this one. I wrote down 3.5, but because I'm kind of intrigued by it, I think I'm going to bump it up to a 4.
Yeah, I'll meet you there with the 4, and I promise I'm not parroting Jacob. I just happen to agree with him quite a bit. Well, next up is Pearl. This is the prequel to the horror movie X, which we got earlier this year. When I saw the trailer for this, I was sitting there like, wait, X came out literally a few months ago, and you're telling me there's a prequel coming out the same year. Like, I don't know how well the X movie did, but clearly A24 has some faith in Ty West in order to greenlight this. I've seen the trailer a couple times now. I'm intrigued because the more I think about X, the more I like it. And even the weird stuff and some of the stuff that gives me the heebie-jeebies is still pretty well helmed. But Jacob, what did you think of this one?
All right. Well, I still haven't seen X yet, so I can't comment on how I felt about that movie. Just on the trailer, and I mean, I'm still kind of intrigued by it. To me, it's mind baffling, like you said, that we got X and then this prequel movie out the same year. If I'm not mistaken, they were both shot back to back. I think the director Ty West had a vision for both movies, and you decided to make both at the same time because A24 is confident in all their movies. The trailer actually gave me a lot of Joker vibes, with the main characters, slowly going mad throughout. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I definitely saw the comparison. I guess because I haven't seen X, I can't give this one as high of an anticipation like I did when I saw the trailer for X a few months ago. But just because the fact that it still looks intriguing, I'm gonna go 3.5 on Pearl.
I'm gonna go a little higher and say four. As someone who has actually seen X and can appreciate the context here, I'm not gonna say that I saw this one coming, but it could be a pleasant surprise. Well, next up is The Silent Twins, based on the lives of June and Jennifer Gibbons, real-life identical twins who grew up in Wales and became known as the Silent Twins because of their refusal to communicate with anyone other than each other. This movie stars Letitia Wright as the twins and a lot of other very British actors. But Jacob, what did you think of this one?
Yeah, this actually looks like it could be potential to be something really special. I don't know anything about the true story, but some of the comments I saw on the comment section after watching the trailer have said this is an incredibly sad story. So it's going to be a very heartbreaking watch, but I think it's got potential to be an awards contender if it's made very well. I've been a fan of Letitia Wright since Black Panther, and I'm excited what she's going to bring in a movie like this. I know she'll bring her A game because she's a fantastic actress. So, with all that riding high, I'm going to go 4 on this one.
I'm going to go a little higher and go 4.5. I actually found this one to be very intriguing, and especially it looks like they're going to lean towards going a surreal direction, which I'm all for that. And
Yeah,
with this
just
Black
what you were saying.
with this in Black Panther Wakanda Forever, it's looking like the rest of this year might belong to Letitia Wright. Who knows?
Yeah, and she was in Death on the Nile earlier this year, and I thought she was really good in that movie. And back to what you said about the surrealism, have you seen the movie Heavenly Creatures, one of Peter Jackson's earliest movies?
No, I have not.
Yeah, watching the trailer for The Silent Twins gave me a bunch of Heavenly Creatures vibes because it dealt with like surreal fantasy with with the main characters.
Yeah, I'll have to hunt that down because I know Jackson's films before Lord of the Rings were really weird. I know there was one called, I believe it was called Brain Dead, which that movie's just all kinds of nuts. And then there was this
Yeah.
one called Bad Taste, which I'll have to hunt those down one day. Well, next up is Do Revenge. This is a Netflix movie, and it's Dre and Eleanor agree to go after one another's bullies. This movie stars Sophie Turner, who is in Game of Thrones, and Maya Hawke, who is the daughter of Ethan Hawke. And she's been in a few things herself. She's Robin Buckley in Stranger Things, among other things. Jacob, what did you think of this one?
All right, I'm kind of split on this movie. The cast looks amazing. Like I've been a fan of Maya Hawke since Stranger Things. She's one of the standouts in the last 2 seasons of the show, and I'm happy that she's getting more work. But the satire and social commentary surrounding the movie, just from the trailer, I was just rolling my eyes at about half of it to the point where I wasn't sure how to feel about watching the movie. Maybe watching the movie and getting the full context, I might appreciate what they were going for. But just from watching the trailer, I'm just like, I don't know about this one. I'm gonna go 2.5 just because I'm a little cautious.
I'm gonna go a little lower and say two. I have no real experience with any of like I know Sophie Turner and I know Maya Hawke, but just in general, I just don't know about this one. I feel like I'm erring on the side of caution with it. But next up is Goodnight Mommy. This is an Amazon Prime movie. Twin brothers arrive at their mother's house and begin to suspect that something isn't right. Remake of the 2014 Austrian film. Right off the bat, this trailer gave me the creeps just based on Naomi Watson wearing that weird looking mask, and I was just sitting there like, you kids better run. Like it doesn't matter like what happens. Like you better just like turn around and just be like, yeah, we're running away because you're a monster. So this trailer effectively gave me the creeps, Jacob. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I was a little bit disturbed watching the trailer because I knew something was up just in seeing that woman's face. I felt like the trailer might have spoiled a little too much and where the general direction of the story was going. But at the same time, I'm still intrigued by the movie itself. Naomi Watts is a very underrated actress. I know she's going to give another outstanding performance in this movie. So I think it'll still be a good one. I wish it came out in theaters instead of streaming, but if I get the time, I'll give it a chance. I'm going to go 3.5.
I'll go 4.5 because, like I said, this trailer just, ooh, it rubbed me the wrong way, and I think that was the intent, and it knocked it out of the ballpark. Well, it's time to address the elephant in the room. It's Don't Worry, Darling. Now, this has unfortunately been clouded in controversy, but the movie is about a 1950s housewife living with her husband in a utopian experimental community begins to worry that his glamorous company may be hiding disturbing secrets. I've seen this trailer about 100 times now. You just cannot escape it. But just from the looks of it, it's given me kind of Truman Show vibes in that I have a feeling that this community is like in this bubble, some like kind of this bubble looking thing. And it might be doing like something like Jacob, have you ever seen The Village at the M. Night
Yeah,
Shyamalan?
I've
I
seen The
didn't want
Village.
I didn't want to spoil the twist that it's actually modern day, but you know, wouldn't it be just the damnedest thing if they were actually like in modern times and this was just a whole big experiment? But anyway, controversy aside, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, I'm not going to comment on the he said, she said drama surrounding it. I honestly don't care about any of that. The movie alone looks really, really intriguing. It looks like one of the most creative stories visually from the trailer. And I love the cast that I've seen just from the trailer alone. Where you got like Harry Styles and Chris Pine, Florence Pugh, among others. I think they're all going to bring their A game. Now, I wasn't the biggest fan of Olivia Wilde's previous movie, Booksmart. That movie was okay to me, but I'm really intrigued what she's going to bring to a different genre. I like it when directors experiment. This one I think is my most anticipated of the month. I'm going to go 4.5.
Yeah, I'll meet you on that one. I've seen it enough to the point where I'm like, yeah, you worn me down. I'm definitely gonna be there day one. But next up is Catherine Called Birdie. This is an Amazon Prime movie. Oh, wait, release date October 7th. I'm seeing that on IMDb.
I think
So,
I think it was premiering. I think in select theaters in September.
oh, I'll take your word for it. Let me back up and start over. So three, two. Right. So next up is Catherine Called Birdie. This is an Amazon Prime movie. It's about a 14-year-old girl in medieval England navigates through life and avoiding potential suitors her father has in mind. I've seen this trailer now a couple times, once for the streaming preview. I was not a fan personally, Jacob. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it was kind of hit and miss for me. Not a lot of the humor and the modern references landed watching a trailer. But the Catherine character has a lot of spunk to her. I'm sure that actress is really giving it her all. And I enjoyed a little bit of the sharp wit related to her character. So I'm kind of mixed on the whole trailer. I kind of want to see the whole movie itself to see if I'm going to really like it or not. I'm kind of in the middle on it. I'm going to go 3.
I'm gonna go 2. I've seen the trailer now twice, and it's one of those try to laugh challenges, and it just hasn't worked for me. Well, next up is A Jazzman's Blues. This is a Netflix movie. Follows an investigation into an unsolved murder, unveiling a story full of forbidden love, deceit, and a secret. This was written and directed by Tyler Perry. I was not anticipating that because the trailer actually looks pretty solid, and I was not anticipating that, Jacob. What say you?
Yeah, Tyler Perry directing this is kind of shocking since he's best known for the Medea movies. I didn't really feel much when watching the trailer. It looked like a run of the mill forbidden romance drama you'd see on the Lifetime channel, but hey, I guess you got to give Tyler Perry credit for trying to do something different. I don't have too much anticipation on this one, but it could be a hidden gem. I don't know, but I didn't get much out of the trailer. I'm going to go 2.
Yeah, I will agree with you. I'll go 2.5. Like I said, it's solid, but even still, like just remembering like who's behind it, it might be disappointing. Well, next up is The Munsters. This is from writer and director Rob Zombie, and this trailer kind of was a meme for a while as a reboot of The Munsters that followed a family of monsters who moves from Transylvania to an American suburb. Now, I consider myself a bit of a fan of Rob Zombie. I like some of his music. I've given praise to one of his movies, The Devil's Rejects, which I have a review of. I reviewed it last year for Scary Mania. But I don't know about this one. This does not look good to me. What say you?
I have so many emotions on this. I haven't seen much of the original show, so I can't really compare. I haven't seen a single Rob Zombie movie, so I can't judge any of his previous works. I have no idea how he got the job for the Munsters, honestly, because Rob Zombie is known for his hardcore, schlocky, B grade horror movies, and you get him to do the Munsters, and the film looks so cheap and artificial, and the acting just from the trailer just looked very, very cringe. I don't know what he was going with this movie. And then to make matters worse, this was supposed to go to theaters, but after the backlash from the trailer, Universal backpedaled and the film got dumped just to direct the video. Yeah, this is not a good sign.
Are you going 1 on this one?
I'm gonna go 1 because I kind of hope it's a so bad it's good movie. If
Yeah.
it's not, I'd go 0.
Yeah, I'll go 1. I'll meet you there. Well, next up is Blonde. This is another Netflix movie. It's a fictionalized chronicle of the inner life of Marilyn Monroe. This movie got buzz on the one hand because people were strangely up in arms because Ana de Armas is cast as Marilyn Monroe, a Cuban woman playing a white woman. I don't see the problem here. I mean, it's Ana de frickin' Armas. We should be grateful that she was cast in the first place, but it's in our nature to complain, I suppose. Not to mention, this was also directed by Andrew Dominic, who directed Killing Them Softly and what else? And the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. So this guy knows what he's doing. Not to mention, this movie is nearly 3 hours long. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes, and it's rated NC-17. The only other movie I can think of in my lifetime that came out that was NC-17 was Blue is the Warmest Color, which I have not seen. Jacob, with all this in mind, what is your excitement level for Blonde?
Um, I'm kind of hit and miss on it because on one hand, I love Arna Day Armas. I'm glad that she's playing Marilyn Monroe. Just seeing her in the trailer, she's embodying Marilyn Monroe, and I'm excited to see that. I'm a little iffy on the fact that, for one, it sounds like they're fictionalizing her story and making it all in her head. That just seemed like a weird way to tell her story, considering her story was based in tragedy. I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of respect the effort, and it looks like it's going to be a well made movie. But I'm also concerned on the NC-17 rating. I don't know how much you're going to exploit Maryland's story just for that rating. So there's a lot of red flags in this one, but I do kind of hope for the best at the same time because Anna is a fantastic actress. But there's a lot of red flags I'm seeing in this one as well. But optimistically, I'm going no higher than 2.5.
I'll go three just because of the talent involved, because Bobby Cannavale is in this, Scoot McNairy is in this. There's clearly effort put forth in this. And from a taste department, I'm not sure how this is going to play out because if anyone knows anything about Marilyn Monroe, she had a pretty rough life, and it's slowly been leaking out over the years that she was pretty much like Elvis Presley. She was exploited, taken advantage of, and it was just a crap situation. So I don't know how they're going to play it out, but it's going to be interesting. But I'm going three just based on who's involved in this and just the fact that it's NC-17. That's going to be interesting because, like, NC-17, basically, if this were playing in a theater, and if I were working in my local theater, I would have to be literally standing outside the theater and being like, I need your ID. I need your ID. I need your ID. I'd have to be checking IDs for everybody. And if you weren't over 17, you had to be turned away. So that's a pretty big deal. But next up is Hocus Pocus 2. This is exclusive to Disney Plus, and three young women accidentally bring back the Sanderson sisters to modern-day Salem and must figure out how to stop the child-hungry witches from wreaking havoc on the world. Now, I really enjoy the first Hocus Pocus movie for what it is, in terms of atmosphere, in terms of it being a Halloween movie. It gets me in the mood for the season. I'm not going into it for depth. I'm going into it for just ambiance, and it gives me that in spades. But now we're getting the same actresses playing the Sandersons, just 20 or 30 years older, 30 years older. And I'm not sure I'm ready for a Sanderson sister being like, oh, what is this sorcery? So, Jacob, what say you?
I'm going to be roasted on this, but I have never liked the original Hocus Pocus. I saw it once, and I just do not get the hype for this movie at all. Like, it's one of the most unpleasant, ugly, mean spirited movies I've ever seen in my life, especially for a Disney film. I just did not get the hype for this movie at all. Um, the sequel, I don't think is going to be any better. I don't even care for the Sanderson sisters that much either. I just found them kind of cruel and distasteful, despite being played well by people like Bette Midler and Sarah Jessica Parker. This didn't really do much just watching the trailer. I think it's going to be just as bad as the first movie, in my opinion. So I'm going to go 1.5.
I'll go two just for the hope that it's going to at least get me in the need for the season. I mean, I've already got some Halloween decorations up, so that tells you what mood I'm in right now. But next up is Bros. Two men with commitment problems attempt a relationship. Jacob, what did you think of this one?
I got um I respect the effort to do something a little different, but I didn't really relate to the story. The humor didn't really land for me. If you're into this kind of thing, a gay rom com, more power to you. I didn't get much out of the trailer, so I'm gonna go 2.
Yeah, I think I'll meet you there, and I think we're both being generous in that regard. Well, next up is The Good House. Life for New England realtor Hildy Good begins to unravel when she hooks up with an old flame of hers from New York, based on Anne Leary's The Good House. This movie stars Sigourney Weaver and Kevin Kline, as well as Morena Baccarin. That's a hell of a pull there, getting Morena Baccarin. But Jacob, what did you think of this one?
Yeah, this actually surprised me when I saw the trailer. I just saw Sigourney Weaver at first. I'm like, this just looks kind of run of the mill. Then you get Kevin Kline in there, and I've watched the movie Dave recently, which had the two actors together. Those two have great chemistry. Just on the strength of the cast alone, I think this looks like a solid movie. I'm going to go 3.5 just on the cast.
Yeah, I'll meet you there. This is something. This is a movie that my mom is just going to fall in love over. Well, next up is The Greatest Beer Run Ever. This is on Apple TV Plus. A man's story of leaving New York in 1967 to bring beer to his childhood buddies in the army while they are fighting in Vietnam. I'm gonna go 5 on this one. I love this trailer. I love the cast. I love this story. It's directed by Peter Farrelly, who just got off of winning an Oscar for Green Book. I look forward to reading this comment section. But Jacob, what say you?
For one thing, it cracks me up that Peter Farrelly is now doing movies like this Green Book, and he previously did films like Dumb and Dumber. That's just funny to me for one thing. I'm not gonna go as high as you, but I still had a kick watching the trailer. Apparently, this is based on a true story that I didn't even know about. And it sounds like an insane one in that. I'm excited to check this out just on the story alone. Plus, it's good seeing Zac Efron in more roles. He's such a talented actor. I'm going to go 4 on this one.
All right, and this is one of the ones that I have been looking forward to hearing your thoughts on the most. Smile. After witnessing a bizarre, traumatic incident involving a patient, Dr. Rose Cotter starts experiencing frightening occurrences that she can't explain. Rose must confront her troubling past in order to survive and escape her horrifying new reality. So, Truth or Dare decided to get a sequel apparently. Like I'm going to go 0 on this one. This movie looks like the wrong kind of ridiculous. It just looks just straight up bad.
Oh, that's an actual sequel to the Truth or Dare movie, or was that a joke?
No, no, that was a joke, but
Okay,
you
you almost got me there. I'm like, this is the sequel to Truth or Dare.
you seriously thought so, right?
No, I saw the trailer and I was genuinely disturbed by it. I was like, oh, this premise has a lot of potential. I was like, there was that one jump scare at the end where like the the woman's face is like dangling upside down, and that actually got me. I'm actually kind of optimistic on this. Wow, I didn't think we'd have this big of a difference in opinion. This trailer, I was going 4 on it.
All right, fair enough. I mean, I could be jumping the gun. I mean, I'll still see.
I could be jumping the gun. You could be biting the bullet, and I'm sinking with Warner Brothers.
Well, anyway, let's wrap things up with My Best Friend's Exorcism. This is on Amazon Prime. The year is 1988. High school sophomores Abby and Gretchen have been best friends since fourth grade, but after an evening of skinny dipping goes disastrously wrong, Gretchen begins to act different. She's moody, she's irritable, and bizarre incidents keep happening whenever she's nearby. Abby's investigation leads her to some startling discoveries, and by the time their story reaches its terrifying conclusion, the fate of Abby and Gretchen will be determined by a single question. Is their friendship powerful enough to beat the devil? Jacob, what did you think of this one?
Uh, that's probably the best word to describe it. Exorcism movies are hit and miss for me. This one, I think they're trying to do a more comedic spin on it. I didn't really laugh once in the trailer. It looked like the actors were trying at least, and I like the 80s aesthetic, but I can take it or leave it on this one. I'm going to 2.5.
Yeah, I'll meet you there too. It's nice to see Elsie Fisher doing something other than that crappy Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie from earlier
That's
this
who
year.
that was. That's the girl from 8th grade, wasn't it?
That's Elsie Fisher, yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
I
hopefully.
just see her just in that one moment in time, and like you forget. Oh yeah, kids grow up too.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the end of September. What are you all looking forward to this month? I mean, in terms of content, I mean, we got Rings of Power, we got the Andor show, so there's a lot coming. So leave them in the comments. We'd love to read what you have to say. And that's it. That's another episode in the books. Thank you all so much for watching. And Jacob, it is a pleasure as always. Tell the people where they can find me.
People can find me on Letterboxd, Twitter, and Facebook, and you can also subscribe to my 2 YouTube channels. My second YouTube channel, Storytime with Jacob, is where I do book reviews and read-alongs. I'm in the middle of reading The Outsiders, a fantastic book that I'm reading for the first time. And then on my main channel is where I do my movie reviews, TV reviews, ranking videos, and all that fun stuff. At the time of recording this video, my review of episode 10 of Downton Abbey, season 2, episode 3 just dropped if you want to check that out. Other recent videos on my channel, I did a review of Stanley Kubrick's Paths of Glory. I did a live stream with Blacktastic Media where we discussed Alfred Hitchcock's Rebecca. And other videos coming this week, I plan on reviewing Peter Bogdanovich's film Daisy Miller, which was his first big flop after Paper Moon. That's going to be an interesting video. I also plan on covering the Disney Channel film You Wish for my Celebrating Disney series. And this Saturday, on my Superhero Saturday series, I'll be reviewing a film that you, Ryan, checked out for the first time recently. And I'm excited to check it out for the first time myself. And that's The Crow. I can't wait to check that one out. So be on the lookout for those videos coming soon, along with other content coming throughout the remainder of the month.
Yeah, subscribe to his channels. They're both excellent. And as far as this channel goes, this past Sunday I dropped my review for Train Spotting, my first reaction to that. And then I will try my hardest to watch at the very least the first episode of Rings of Power. I can't promise that, but I will get around to it and have at least one new release. And then for this coming Sunday will be my first reaction to the Tarantino film Jackie Brown. So stay on the lookout for that. But for now, that's Jacob Martin. My name is Ryan Cam. We will see you in the next one. Take care.